Basically, we have made some changes to the previously established IPS Plus program. And first thing we did, we changed the name. So now it will be called the Research Networking Scheme. And we have made other changes that we will be going through throughout this presentation. So to start off, some housekeeping rules. Please keep your microphone muted so that we avoid any confusion. And this session is currently being recorded. And at the end of the presentation, both the recording and the PowerPoint presentation will be sent to you. So, moreover, throughout this presentation, you can ask any questions in the Teams chat box. My colleague Pierre-Marc Farrugia will be answering your questions. And also, we will be assigning time after this presentation so you can answer questions. So, the scheme will be divided into two parts, which is the networking scheme and open access journal support, which is also new. So the networking scheme offers opportunities for collaborative initiatives between Maltese entities and at least one foreign entity of proven track record of excellence. Proposals should describe the nature of the joint activities that will be funded through this award. And on the second part, the open access journal, which will be giving the opportunity to researchers and support them in publishing their research in an open access journal support. So who is eligible? All applicants must be an entity registered in Malta, and these entities include the following: a partnership, a limited liability company, a professional body, non-profit making entities, including foundations, public entities, research and knowledge dissemination organizations, NGOs, and also cooperatives. Now, with regards to the funded activities under networking schemes, these activities, some examples are joint teaching curricula for master's or PhD students, short-term placements for multi-students to conduct research abroad or to host students from foreign centers of excellence in Malta, strategic and targeted visits by local academics, seminars or workshops, and also the development of transitional research and innovation proposals, which can be done for the submission to third-party funders. Now, with regards to financing, the first thing we changed is IPS Plus used to be €6,000, the capped amount of the grant. Now the networking scheme will be capped at €8,000. Each applicant is also invited to provide a breakdown of the anticipated costs using a financial budget sheet, and supplementary or match funding from the partnering institution is allowed and also encouraged, as long as it does not finance the same activities that will be funded through the networking scheme. Now, please note that the award should be used to support national efforts in this collaboration and not to be transferred to foreign institutions for their activities. Now, eligible costs budget lines under this networking scheme will be flights for travel related to the project, and so the capping will be of €1,000 to €1,000 to EU countries and €2,000 to non-European countries. Travel insurance will also be obligatory under the RNS grant. subsistence allowance, catering, which is strictly in relation to meetings, workshops, and seminars hosted locally, information and promotional material, as long as these are necessary to ensure the effectiveness and success of the collaboration, and finally, media articles related to the project. And this budget line is capped to €1,500. Now, under media articles, publications for open access are not eligible. With regards to the open access journal support, funded activities and finances, so there's a limit of one publication per grant, and the support will be capped at €4,000. Now, once the open access journal is published, you would need to send a copy of the publication and or relevant receipts so you can be reimbursed 100% for the expenses. The publication should be strictly related to projects funded by MCST. Now, with regards to the evaluation process for the networking scheme, applications will be assessed by a selection panel, which will be outsourced and set by MCST against the following criteria: quality of the project activities, strength of partnership and leadership. So just to point out that new partnerships between the academic institutions are also encouraged, and with the aim of fostering closer ties between local and international institutions. And finally, the outcomes and sustainability. So all these three criteria will be weighed equally. Now, with regards to criteria on the open access journal support, proposals will be evaluated on excellence of the proposed project idea to be published on the open access journal, which is 30%, the impact factor, 50%, and likelihood of publication in the intended journal, which is 20%. So deadlines and reporting. Now the deadline for completion of the finance networking scheme or the open access journal support through this grant is of 1 year from the start date. Projects may be completed at any point within this 1 year time, and extensions will not be allowed. Now, if the open access journal support is granted in conjunction with the networking scheme, the duration will be of 1.5 years instead of 1 year from start date. Once the project is completed, the applicant have to submit the final technical report, financial report, and other supporting documents within 30 days, and the templates will be provided by MCST. Now, for those activities extending for the full duration of the scheme, final reports should be submitted by not later than 30 days from the deadline of award. Now, reference to this award should be made on any publication, marketing, or PR material that is generated in relation to the project or activity undertaken. So, now the application. Interested applicants are to submit their application form electronically through networking.mcst@gov.mt, and also keeping me in copy. The subject heading should read Research Networking Scheme 2024 application, and the deadline for the application process will be on Friday, 21st June 2024. So all submissions should be signed and dated by the applicant and legal representative of the entity. So point out that if the If the file is larger than 15 megabytes, the system will automatically reject it. So then it would be best to send the files via WeTransfer. Now, submissions for standalone networking scheme or combined with open access journal support should include these documents: the research networking scheme application form, which can be found on our website under research networking scheme, the letter of support for all partner institutions, confirming any match funding or additional funding, profile of the potential partners, CVs of principal investigators from local and partner institutions, agenda of events, activities, and training, and where applicable, the de minimis declaration form. Now, for the open access journal only, only the application is needed, and also where applicable, the de minimis form. Now, we have plenty of time. Yes, we have plenty of time to answer your questions. However, you can also contact us at any time, and we can inform you accordingly. Now, we will be also sending the email for those applicants who would like to do a one-to-one meeting. So this will be sent before or after the presentation. So if you have any questions, you can kindly ask. Any questions, please?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, you're not Jessica, a physiotherapist from St. Vincent de Paul. My question is, in the application, you have to tick according to the activity that you would be doing. However, what we have in mind overlaps between some of the activities, but you're only allowed to tick one. In that case, what would you suggest? So just so that you have an idea, what we wish to do is to invite a foreign speaker here to give some training to our staff, and then possibly offering a placement abroad to some of the staff.
So both activities are eligible under this grant. Maybe Mark can advise with regards to overlapping.
I recommend that you take the best one that fit more, the one that is the main activity of the project, basically.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
And so someone else, any other questions, please?
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So for the open access research scheme, if the paper is already published and you're looking for funding to go to the conference, is that something that the open access scheme can accommodate, or does it have to be you have to write the paper with the funding in line already?
Basically, if work cannot start before the grant agreement is signed. So there should not be any work that have started before the grant agreement is signed. So it's not possible that the paper was already published and you benefit from this grant.
Okay, so for context, so I just finished the traineeship scheme with the European Space Agency, which was funded by MCST, and one of the things that came out of this traineeship was basically this conference paper, and the people from MCST that were running this traineeship kind of suggested looking into this research network funding scheme to maybe be able to attend the conference that this paper has been published in. But I guess
But for the conference, if you wish to attend the conference, and the conference, when will be held the conference?
it will be held this July.
It's a
So
bit, how do you say, borderline, because obviously the grant agreement has to be signed before the basically even the flight are purchased and everything. So it's a bit borderline. Basically,
okay.
I cannot assure you that the grant agreements will be signed by July.
No, fair enough. Thank you.
Welcome. Any more questions?
Yes, Sebastian is here. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes.
Yes.
Hi. Hi, good morning, everyone. Thanks for the presentation. No, actually, I have something that maybe I missed. Regarding this research networking scheme application, it's either the networking scheme or the peer reviewed, right? They don't go together.
No, they go together.
They do go together.
So the RNS as a standalone, the networking scheme as a standalone is of 1 year duration. If it's in conjunction with the open access journey, it will be 1 year and a half.
Okay.
Basically, if the open access journal is related to the networking scheme project that you're working on, you have 1 year and a half, and you can apply in one application for both grants.
Okay, I understand. Otherwise, you can you apply just for the research networking scheme or the open access, providing that the open access topic of the paper is related to one other MCST funded project. Am I right?
Exactly. Yes, you're right.
Okay. So there are like this 3 different possibilities of within the same application form or application process, let's say. Okay.
And just to clarify, if you have already been granted funds from another program, any other program from MCST, you can then apply for the open access journal.
Right. Okay. Clear. Thanks.
You're welcome. So any other questions, please?
Tanya Borch, Life Plus, nista' nitkellem, please?
Yes,
Steve.
Mela, I have 2 questions. First of all, thank you for this session. It's very informative. I think I missed 2 slides. I believe one was slide 6 regarding the funding. So I need to ask exactly how the funding works, and the one related to sign. Per eżempju, għandna deadline tal-21 ta' Ġunju, u mbagħad meta joħorġu r-riżultatu meta tista' tippjana il-ċaqliq mill-pajjiż. Grazzi. So I'll rephrase it in English. I'm asking 2 questions. One related specifically to the €8,000. I believe it was slide 6. And I think I missed the one related to the time. So how the project works. The deadline of the application we have, when the mobility can start, or yes, I don't know if the questions are clear. I'm muted.
Mela, basically regarding the networking scheme, funds are given once the grant agreement is signed. So it is pre-financed. You will get the €8,000 before. Regarding the other part, the open access support, the funds will be given by reimbursement. So once we receive a copy of the publication and the receipts and the invoice, we will reimburse. As to when the activities can start, I can say basically it will take around 2 to 3 months from the deadline to have the results and the grant agreement in place. So you should plan 3 months from deadline.
Thank you.
Someone else, please.
Hi, yes, it's Sarah Arbanozzo from the Research Support Services Directorate. Hi, something I want to clarify because it's not clear. So for the academic to be eligible to get that money for the open access, does he or she have to still be delivering an MCST project? Does it have to be live, or can it be, let's say, it just closed and they're eligible? How does it work? So how, please?
If they got a grant from MCST, they can apply.
That is still open and active, but
yes, even if it's closed.
Even how long is how long is it closed? Let's say like a year can pass and they, so that we know what to tell them.
Then basically it's up to evaluators to evaluate if it's still worth of
so if the project is closed and they would have published, are they eligible to get that money for the project that they would have paid to publish?
No, the publication should be start. The work on publication have to be start after the grant agreement is signed. Because no work can start before the grant agreement is signed.
Okay, so they could get out another paper, in other words,
yes.
because usually they would have included the cost for a publication.
And obviously they should not have been already given money from the project that was funded by MCST. So if in the deliverables related there was allocated funds to publish a paper, they cannot apply again for the same paper to get funds from the RNS.
Okay, understood. And the funds to apply for funds, can it be done separately of the networking event, or it has to be together?
No, if as I was explaining, if if they are related, if the publication is related to the work that of the networking scheme, you can apply together. If the publication is related to another project that was funded by MCST, it should be separate.
It can be separate. Okay, thanks.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Well, I think that's all.
I'm looking at a question in the chat. The foreign partner should be always an entity. It cannot be an individual. And ideally, obviously, both the Maltese and the foreign partners have a track record of excellence in research, basically. I saw also a question related if you will have a copy of the presentation, you will have a copy of the presentation and also the recording of this info session.
Sorry, it's me again. Can I just a little one? The foreigner entities or the person, because at the end of the day we're talking of individual, obviously affiliated with the foreign university of research and stuff. Do we need to present also the CV of the main contact persons there?
Yes, both CVs, both of the Maltese and the international one.
Okay,
CVs and
Plus a
letter
letter
of
of
support.
and the letter of
Yes.
support must be signed by their legal representative, or can be signed by the I mean, not the applicant, the contact person, let's say, that we don't have.
By the contact person is enough.
Okay. Because sometimes,
But it should be on a letterhead. It should be on a letterhead of the entity.
okay, but as long as okay with the researcher signing and providing his own CV, okay. Thanks a million.
I'm looking at another question. If the partner should be already collaborating, no, it can be also a new collaboration. Mela, for the open access journal, it should be attached to an MCST grant. Yes, it should be attached to an MCST grant as long as you are not applying for a networking scheme together with an open access journal. So for a publication, you need, or you have already benefited from an MCST award, or else you're going to start a collaboration by applying to the networking scheme and then apply also for the publication. Any other question?
Sorry, Mark, Argentina, Tanya Watch min live class. This is my first time applying, so I'm considering the networking scheme. Just to clarify, because I want to be sure, the first time I'm applying for the MCST funding, could it be just for networking this year? And maybe next year there will be an open access journal and...
Yes. Yes, you can, and we will have another call in around September. So the RNS will open again in September.
Thank you.
Now you can apply now for the networking scheme, and then, for example, in September you apply for the open access support. Any other questions?
So I think there's no other questions. So thank you all for attending this information session. We look forward to hearing from you. And just a gentle reminder, if you wish to contact us, you can do so. We will be sending the PowerPoint and recording after this session. So, thanks a lot.